everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Arden. Here we talk about books and sometimes my life, but today we're gonna talk about books. For this video, I partnered up with my sister to bring you some new book recommendations and new books to read while you are staying at home. There are gonna be 3 parts to this video. First one is my sister's recommendations, Anya's recommendations. Second one is going to be books we agree on. Third one is books that I recommend. Oh, and there's gonna be a 4th part, which is honorable mentions. Today, I'm only going to be talking about standalone books or books that have only 2 parts. They're not a trilogy. They can be a duology, but not a trilogy. And they won't be in a series. Separate video coming soon, or maybe it's gonna be already up before this one. So let's get started with my sister's recommendations. I need to put my glasses on because I'm blind. Hi, I finally see you now. As far as I understood, my sister put these in no particular order, but the first book that she mentioned is Clean by Juno Dawson. She says it's an absolute favorite standalone book she's read this year. I don't want to say anything besides that it's a must read. Second book that she recommends is The Places I've Cried in Public. She says, such an interesting read that helps you pinpoint red flags in your life and recognize gaslighting. Through a really interesting storyline and characters, you meet with psychological abuse and its after effects. Okay, the third book that she recommends is one I have on my bookshelf. I don't want to bring it out because it's somewhere really deep down and... Anyway, the book that she recommends is The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout. She says, JLA does it again. It's hard not to love her books, and this one is particularly memorable and one of my favorites. So, The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The 4th book or duology that she recommends is Elantris and Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. She says, I'm cheating by putting 2 books here, but I have to mention Brandon Sanderson. His world, characters, and storyline are amazing and one of a kind. So I initially just told her we each get to pick top 5 of our mentions, but if you keep on watching, you will realize that there are more than 10 books mentioned in this video. So, yikes, one of us cheated. The 5th book she recommends is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. She says it's an absolute must by Colleen Hoover. It was the first book she's read by her and it was really, really good. The story took a completely different turn as to what she expected. Amazing. So there are 2 books that we agree on, and one is The Host by Stephenie Meyer, the same author of Twilight, but I promise you The Host is a much more enjoyable read. I personally love Twilight. I read it when I was in 8th grade and I probably wouldn't like it as much if I read it again, but I absolutely enjoyed The Host so much more. It stuck with me so much, and this book, yikes, I really feel sorry for it because it's been through a lot. This book, it's been really loved and I do recommend it. My sister recommends it. And watch the movie if you haven't yet. But first read the book because it's so much better. And the second book that we recommend or agree on is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. Let me tell you, my sister hasn't read Delirium yet, which is a book trilogy by Lauren Oliver. I liked it. And I do recommend it for her to read. So maybe you want to read it as well. But that's for a whole different video. But Before I Fall is so much better. There's also a movie if you want to watch the movie as well. I do recommend the audiobook for this book because the actress, I believe her name is Sarah Drew, she read this audiobook and she does such a fantastic job. But Before I Fall, the book itself is so great. The character development is amazing. The writing is great. The progression of this story is incredible. So this is one book that we agree on. Oh my gosh, it's so beaten up because I keep mistreating it somehow. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. This book has been loved by other people because I got it in a secondhand shop, but it is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. When I saw this cover, that it's the miniseries cover, I was like, yes. Although I would have preferred the movie cover, but you know what? It's fine. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, one of my top favorite classics. I have been obsessed with since, you know, I've read it, which was 2017, 2016? No, not sure, but you know what? Read it if you haven't, or listen to an audiobook. There is an app called LibriVox that has classics for free that you can listen to. So I have my favorite narrator. I'll try to find her. I'll put the name here if you want to catch her version of the audiobook. But Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorite classics if you want to read it. I obviously wanted to branch out a little if YA isn't your genre. Now moving on to the next book, which I chose just because I wanted you to have something very light and short to read if you don't want to read big books such as The Host. The next book I recommend to you is Textrovert by Lindsey Summers. I have a signed copy. Oh, this is from Whatcom 2017. Wait, this book is signed to me, and yeah, I love this book. You can also read it on Wattpad. It's called The Cell Phone Swap, but the published version is Textrovert. But I do recommend it if you want to read something fun set in high school, and you know, the theme of this book is also rivalry, high school rivalry, and yeah, this is a really easy, really fun, amazing book to read that I have reread like 4 or 5 times now, and I still love it as much as I did the first time, and I really want to reread the Wattpad version as well, because that one was amazing, and I can see why it was #1 in teen fiction for such a long time. Yeah, I do recommend it to you guys to read this one. Really highly recommend it. The next book that my sister also wanted to recommend, but I told her she can only recommend 5 books, so I guess we do agree on that as well, is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. I personally recommend this book if you love summer books. But this one, I have to mention, I have to warn you that it deals with so much more than just being a summer book. It deals with grief. This reminds me of another version of The Fault in Our Stars, personally, because this book does deal with cancer. So the main character's dad finds out that he has cancer, and he wants to spend the last summer with his family at this lake house where they hadn't gone to, or they hadn't visited in 5 years now, and there is some romance, there is some drama, and most importantly, it talks about the importance of family. And yeah, I do recommend this book. It's so beautiful. You will cry, but you will be glad that you read it, or at least I am very glad that I've read it. My sister also sent me books that she wanted to put on this list, and I've picked just one out of that, which I've also read, and it's Since You've Been Gone. So the same author by Morgan Matson, but that book will probably not make you cry. Then my choice for this list as well is The Fault in Our Stars. This is also an honorable mention by John Green. And then the book that we do agree on is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. That book will probably also, no, that book will definitely mess with your mind and make you cry at the same time. So be very prepared when you read that book, because that book really messed me up more than The Fault in Our Stars, and more than this one. That book, We Were Liars, was, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you enjoyed the books that we have recommended to you. And let us know what you think, if you agree on these books, if you don't, if you've read these books. And I'll see ya next time. Also, before you leave, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell to keep yourself notified, comment down below your books, and like this video. Show some love. Yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see ya next time. Bye-bye.